What up? What it is? Welcome back to the Well Spoken Token podcast. It's me, the Well Spoken Token, and we're doing it live, baby. We are actually coming at you finally with some streams. I know we had some failed ones in the past, little internet issues, but we back up running full speed. I'm talking like Starship Jefferson, all that good shit. Guess what, guys? I've got my brother with me. Say what up to the people, bro.
Yo, my bad. I'm trying to figure out how this fucking StreamYard shit works.
It's still new. I didn't even log into this thing. It just remembered me when I dropped into this motherfucker. Shout out to you, StreamYard.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, about to say I'm podding through the pain today, guys. I'm sick as hell. Boy, got the sniffles. The springtime came and kicked me right in my ass, man. Right in my ass. I'm coughing up a fucking lung here. It sucks that, I mean, that's also like a hell of a thing because I can't like smoke the way I want to. You guys know that I love to smoke, and it's very difficult to do so. Every time I take a hit of a vape, I feel like I've got to like cough like even worse, and I'm like, oh, I guess I just have to abstain. Shout out to the cough.
You make smoking look so cool.
Yeah, me right. It's bad, guys. Don't do it, but I did it. Now I'm addicted, so I'm trying to stop. Actually, speaking of smoking, guess what? And I don't even mean to tout this like it's a big fucking deal or anything like that because I'm still hitting vapes and shit. But it's actually been like a week and 3 days since a nigga has had a cigarette.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. I've actually just been like, I'm just going to not do it. Like as soon as we got back from DC, I was like, you know what? I just don't need to. I didn't buy another pack. And I'm like, I'm just going to keep not doing it.
There you go. Is that your Discord going?
Is it my Discord going?
I keep hearing a blugger.
Is it me? Hold on. I'm checking.
I know, man. Give it up.
Hold on, it might be no, it shouldn't be that. It's not me. Hold on,
we'll move on.
I'm just checking everything. Let me make sure everything's off here because sometimes I be leaving shit up. There we go. Okay, cool. Nah, we're good. I just wanted to make sure I got all my stuff. Is your shit closed? You better make sure.
I mean, it is, but I mean, I don't know. I get random fucking haunted computer sounds all the time.
It's my fucking phone.
Look at that.
I was like, wait, hold on, what the fuck? Nah, it was definitely me. I got you though. Yo, so I'm super thankful, super happy to be back here, man. How are you feeling, bro? I know I've just been talking about how I'm so sick with rose in my eyes and shit. By the way, I coughed so hard I bust a blood vessel in a nigga eye. It was crazy.
That shit went red.
Nah, that shit like on the corner. I was like, oh shit, not my blood. I was like, what the fuck happened? I had to ask mom. I was like, Mom, what the fuck happened to my eye? And she's like, you burst a blood vessel. You been doing something?
Yeah, I trust mom's. I trust mom's fuck medical advice.
Oh, every time. Look, man, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if she said it. It's my mom, man. I was like,
yeah, it gives peace of mind.
Yeah, it was like whatever. If she's not worried enough to be like, you should go to the doctor right now or sit down and let me examine you, like then I'm good.
You seen that TikTok trend, not TikTok, Twitter trend where like they said post your celebrity lookalike?
Oh, do you mean so you was gonna make a Shody Low joke? No, I didn't.
No. This isn't high school, bro. But, I was my girl had my wife. My wife had told me I mean, I'm trying to get out the habit, but anyway, fucking she had told me I should post DJ Academics. Because apparently I look like DJ Academics, and I kind of felt bad about it at first. But then I looked at the nigga and I was like, yeah, I guess I can see the resemblance. I'm only saying that because I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, there goes that Tom and Jerry looking motherfucker.
Nah, nigga, that ass though. If you threw the hat on, I could see it. But that's kind of the thing with these Hershey niggas, man. Like, look, there's a phenotype, man. You know about phenotypes, man?
Yeah. I don't know if you know about phenotypes. You're using the word. I'm not 100% sure you understand.
Look, you know me. All right. I have a general knowledge about a lot of that. But phenotypes, man. You look at motherfuckers and they're built a particular way, man. Right? I think that we just happen to fall into a particular nigga phenotype. There's a couple of niggas that are built that way. DJ Academics, you, Maul. Like Maul is built the same way that.
Sure. Nah, Maul's not fat, and I don't know. But I'm very iffy. So what?
Maul was fat.
I guess.
We don't we don't give niggas, we give credit for losing weight and getting healthy and all that shit, but we don't forget niggas was fat. Like Big Boy is still Big Boy and he lives with that.
Right. So I'm very iffy about everything now that we're like monetized or whatever, right?
Whatever that means.
Like, are we supposed to be cussing? Should we be dropping the N-bomb like we are? I don't know, man.
Did I curse? I don't even know if I cursed yet.
Dropping the N-bomb.
Oh, nigga.
That's like 2 minutes.
That's
do we change? Does the money changes?
No.
All 30 cents.
No, I'm willing to fumble the bag for integrity.
Integrity. No, okay.
I mean,
Speaking of integrity, it sounds
no,
like that
let me
snowball.
throw that back. Let me throw that back because integrity just means coonery sometimes. It really just means sheer niggatry.
I really would like for you to expound on that, but I don't know if we got
Coonery?
time.
Okay, all right, I got you. Coonery or niggatry.
I don't like either of those
Yeah, no,
terms.
that's right. Shout out demonetization gang. Shout out
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Buy
crazy.
money.
we saw it and now it's gone. Oh, they just got on and immediately they started talking about niggas and Negroes and niggatry.
Oh
That can't.
man. All right, move on.
I know I can't help it. It's funny to me because I'm like, oh wow, there might be new people listening. There might be new people checking this out because even though we're recording this live, you guys know that you can catch it on Monday when we like edit it up and chop it up and put it out there for you guys. Right now, it's just kind of unabashed and ready to go, so you get the whole process. I love it. Moving on and stuff, as far as the coonery and shit, what I meant by that is that like, oh, integrity, right? So I want to be able to say whatever the fuck I want to say, right? And say no one else told me I couldn't say it, right? But typically you only evoke that type of shit when you've acted an ass, right? And you suddenly want to try to like paint it as like justice or paint it as some kind of like honor.
Give me an example because you're not being very clear.
What do you mean? Okay, all right, cool. So like say, I mean, like just like right now, right? All right, cool. I was like,
cool. I want to say ass, bro.
Anyway. I'm trying to help you out with this nigga conversation. You over here just
please,
yeah, no.
I figured it out.
So right now, right? All right, I wanted to say nigga as much as possible, right? But that's just me being like unaware, not even really thinking about the fact that we might like fumble a bag or something like that, right? So that's me being absent-minded or even just neglectful. Right. But at the same time, I'm like, nah, that's integrity, because if I don't say it, right, and that's just my natural way of saying shit, then suddenly it's YouTube controlling me, right? Suddenly it's like YouTube like censoring me from saying the shit that I want by withholding money from me.
I mean, that's not really censorship. That's like
no, it's literally saying
you from being a dummy.
Exactly. It's literally saying it's like, hey man, if you don't do these things right, we'll pay you. But at the same time, I'm like, I know niggas out there that are doing these things and are getting paid.
I think they might have worked themselves to a position where they could do shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. But then that becomes a situation of like, how much do we want to work our way up the ladder before we do whatever the fuck we want to, man? Like, there's a degree of playing ball. I get it, right? Here we are, we're live streaming. What's up, YouTube? You love this. And like,
statistically speaking, they don't love this, but keep going.
Really? I thought they
no. YouTube live streams do terrible. Not terrible, but they don't do that great.
Yeah, but they're pushing it. I thought, well, no, stories are still their thing, right?
Nah, I wouldn't call it stories either. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. We got a docket to get to. We got shit to address. We got a lot of things to do.
New money conversation. Haven't seen a cent yet, but we're ready for it. Send the load. Thank you, everybody that checked out the video. I've already said in the video, but just in case I need to say it again, we hit 32K so far on that video. And I hope that it keeps growing. It's the biggest thing we've ever fucking put out ever, and it's a re-upload. Like, are we giving the sauce away? Can we discuss that?
Yeah, for sure. We can talk about it.
Yeah. Now, shout out to like an almost unreleased, possibly like underground pod that we recorded. We got some really good advice. It was like, don't be afraid to re-upload shit. And that was, I thought like that was really poignant. I was like, oh wow, you know what? It's true. If you feel like it's worth it, if you feel like it could have moved, then why not? But we also got into some shit with that, man. I want to talk about this. Like, I want to loosely talk about it that way, that if we ever do manage to like somehow snag a collab, right? I don't want it to be the first time we ever discuss this or first time we ever bring it up, like, right? And as if we were just like airing this shit out later. But when we redropped the video, right, we made the thumbnail and it featured prominent Magic guy.
Bro, this is how you want to do it.
Oh yeah, what? Oh,
no, this is you coming out the gate. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, I mean, was you nigga?
It's been 10 minutes. Go for it.
Yeah, I was give or take, but yeah, no, prominent Magic guy. Shout out Black Nito. You know, he's still dope, still makes cool stuff. Like, I mean, like, yo, he's still he's a bigger figure than I. So cannot necessarily salt on any of the game, right? So again, the new thumbnail, it featured his face. Like, we pulled the image from IMDb. And we made a thumbnail. It was like, you know, okay, cool, you know, prominent figure and Magic card. And that was as much thought went into that. It was like, okay, cool, here you go. Prominent Magic figure and Magic card thumbnail, bet. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. And then, like, as we put it out and we retitled it too, which was really dope, good idea there. and it fucking started shooting up. And then right at about like 10, 12K,
25.
yeah, like 25K, right? It's suddenly like we start getting like weird kind of like comments are changing, right? It's like, oh, you should probably not use someone else's face in that, you didn't ask anybody's permission for that. And I'm like,
And
wait,
we
what?
didn't.
And we didn't. No, and that's the thing. I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And then, I mean, mind you, we're in DC, right, for a wedding. Like, we're in the midst of like, all right, cool, family nuptials. Like, we're all excited. I'm drunk. Hi, we're having a blast. And then, like, we didn't even think to really go back in and check the fucking Instagram or something like that. But thank God we did, because in our Instagram, I mean, yeah, fuck it, we discussed DMs.
I mean, we're here.
Yeah, like fuck it, we here. Yeah, so in the Instagram, right? We look in there and it's like, hey, yada yada litigation, yada yada. You didn't ask for
Nobody used the word litigation.
I could have my lawyer take a look at it and take it down. I don't know. That sounds like litigation to me.
I mean, I don't think you know what litigation means, but okay.
I mean, it's fucking litigation. It's law stuff.
Yeah, right. Litigation, scalpel.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing, right? Same mentality.
The nigga was using litigious language in this motherfucker, and I was like,
he spoke on legal action.
Yes, exactly. That's litigious, right?
I don't know.
Yes,
and I really like, since it's live, I don't feel compelled to even look it up.
All right, no problem. Like, somebody might tell you. Somebody might tell us later. But either way, getting litigious, talking about this kind of shit. It's like, hey, you didn't, ask for my permission, yada yada. Are you even looking at this? Are you gonna take a look at this? I'm like, damn, man, like this is immediate, motherfucker. Damn, you expect the motherfucker to immediately jump on that shit? So of course, when we saw it, we immediately got in there. Like, not immediately. When we saw it, right, we jumped in and was like, yo, what the hell? All right, cool. Hey, we're sorry. We apologize. We didn't mean to fucking, use your shit without your fucking knowledge. So we'll go ahead and change that. We changed it up. And then the tune changed, right? The tune changed like immediately after. Are we going there too? Yeah, fuck it. I'm going there.
No, I don't think, because I don't want you to misrepresent what was said.
Oh, no, very true.
Because it's starting to sound like you're getting ready to misrepresent what was said. Right.
Very much. And sorry,
I understand it's comedy. I understand it's entertainment, but let's just make sure that, like, I mean, you don't salt somebody's name for.
There's no more beef now, right? There's no more beef.
There was never beef.
But it looked like beef. I was like, that smelled like motherfucking ramen noodles, and I was like,
ramen noodles is not beef. There's no beef in ramen noodles.
It might be beef.
There's no beef.
But it was cool. I was again like, all right, hey man, I understand if you feel like your face was used for clicks, because that's the first thing that was kind of like thrown out there. It was like, before you posted my face up for clicks, why didn't you ask me? And I'm like, whoa, like it was never even a thought process that we were like using your face for clicks or anything like that. It was just really like, prominent magic figure, magic card, here you go.
And well, so I'm not trying to cut you off too hard there, but so I made the thumbnail, right?
Yes, you did.
And I don't play Magic. I give less than a fuck necessarily about Magic, more so about including people into like nerd stuff, right? That's what I really care about. So
yeah,
made the thumbnail, and in my head I was like, okay, let's put some of the controversial cards that people were doing. I mean, you got to do the YouTube game. Yeah, you create the thumbnail and you try to draw the click in,
eye-catching, something.
You know what I'm saying? So for that intent and purposes, like, I mean, you can dress it up however you want. That's more or less clickbait.
No, I mean, I get it. It's a thumbnail. I think that's the kind of the purpose, to draw attention, right?
Right. Now, where I fucked up was thinking that public figures, which is what I perceive this guy as, are more like they get used in YouTube thumbnails pretty much all the time, right? And I don't think dudes like Adam22 get upset. I don't think dudes like guys with platforms, you know what I mean? And once he kind of made the message, or once he got in touch, I was like, oh, okay, well, shit.
This is more regular. Right. This is more of a regular dude than ever, like anything. It was
exactly. He's a very tangible, get in touch with the type of guy.
My energy really, I'm just kind of putting myself back in that headspace of where we were kind of.
Right. Hey, that headspace that I was in at the time, no need to come back in there.
No, I get it.
I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you have to do the right thing.
Yeah, and that's why we did. Like, we didn't bitch and moan. And the thing is that, like, I understood by the time we got the thumbnail changes and things like that, and the more like language was spoke between everybody, I was like, okay, cool. Like, this was a very, like, this could have been bad, right? And this could have really been a bad look on us if we would have kind of like doubled down on this or something to that degree. I'm glad that we changed it. I'm glad that we kind of like squashed it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, once again,
And
it was a 4 message exchange.
yeah, it was a very
You know what I
quick
mean?
thing.
End of the day. What bothered me, which is I think is more, what's the word I'm looking for? What bothered me was how quick a lot of people jumped into our shit
Oh
to
yeah.
tell us we were fucked up.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he had shared it. Like he had shared it on his story.
Yeah, but he had shared it saying, "Who the hell are these guys?"
Yeah,
And I don't know these guys. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. All right, yeah,
I
you're
get
right.
it.
You
Like,
don't
no,
know us.
you like we've been the type of people to take
And then
something.
he posted it on Twitter.
Yeah,
And his fan base got a hold of it and was like, "Hey man, what I mean, you guys are fucked up. You guys need to change this." And I'm like, you know what? End of the day, man, he's right. You know what I mean? Like we don't have real permission to do it. And if he doesn't feel comfortable with his face
then
being
we
out
should
here, then by all
absolutely
means, check. Say what?
we should absolutely take it down. Like, no,
For
I
sure.
get it.
For sure.
And that was the thing. It was never our intention ever to be like, yeah, fucking over. And then really when I started really looking at it, hey Crimson, what's good? What's good? Nice to see you over here. I just had to go ahead and say what's up, what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like after we had kind of squashed it and shit, I began to see it from his side. Like I got it. Like I was like, okay, look. And I didn't know that he had just recently got done with a controversy. Like I wasn't really even keeping up with him like that anymore. And so I was like, shit, if I saw that and then kind of the scope of that, like, okay, I could see how you would see it as like using your face for fucking clicks and shit like that. So we've learned
at the end of the day, no matter how you chop it, like that's how it can be perceived.
Absolutely. No, I get it. And I'm not Adam 22, even though shout out to him, but like I'm not here to
that nigga will never hear shit you got to say. But go on.
I mean, like, I'm just not here to take advantage of anybody. That was never the situation, right? And so after we got that squash, like the video continued to grow, and I was very happy that didn't like halt the positive impact that it was kind of having on some people, or just like the growth in general, right? I was glad that we managed to have like a mild controversy in the midst of the video situation and still get up there. Shout out again, Black Nito, Joe Johnson, like you're still cool ass nigga. I wonder if you say nigga. Like that'd be a very interesting question.
He definitely does. I saw it on his Instagram.
He said nigga on Instagram. That's crazy.
Yeah. He said it during the comedy bit. The punchline was, "I want Dragon Ball Z on these niggas." And that's
Fantastic.
Pretty funny.
Oh, and I mean, he was also the only black guy on stage, which makes that joke.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was the only person on stage, so you know what I mean.
Oh man, I'm tripping. I was thinking about
it was his show, nigga. What the fuck?
I forgot he does stand-up comedy, man.
Yeah, he does stand-up comedy. You should ask him about it one day.
Yeah, one day. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out there.
And I also wouldn't call this a controversy because at the end of the day, it's just like it's only a controversy if you let it. He deleted the tweets, you know what I'm saying? He deleted the Instagram story. For all intents and purposes, there's no need to like make it bigger than
exactly. Like that's why I wanted to jump into that at the beginning because I know that by the time we get to like we're gonna get way past this. But at the same time, again, if we ever do manage to like snag the collab, I would again not want that to be the first time we ever discuss that shit. But in the progress of all of this, like as the video has grown, man, like we're up to what, like 422, 424 comments.
I don't know. I haven't really checked in the past couple hours.
Yeah, no, it's
hold on. You're at damn boy, 442. Yep.
442. I said 422, but I was shrinking it down. And in the process, I wish that we were more like organized niggas, because it would have been nice to probably go in and like pie chart that shit. I was like, here's the level of like positive responses we got, and here's the level of generally negative comments we got, and here's some incel racist stuff that also happened. Like but what was really shocking was that I just continued to read really positive stuff. Shout out to all of you guys that were like very like again like forthright with your like stories and shit like that about your own experiences, and shout out to all the other people of other races and shit. Like shout out to I had a couple of them.
There was one comment from a Filipino guy where he talked about like how he just naturally like went more towards like the Japanese style stuff. And it wasn't until he got older that he kind of gravitated towards it.
Yeah. And there was another guy that shout out to him. It was a guy that said he was like a white passing black kid, and that he did a lot of like going out playing like in different shops and things, and him having mostly white friends, right? Like he would be in shops and things, look over and see like the one black person, and in his brain would be like, hey, like I know that you don't know that I'm here with you, but I'm here with you. And he's like, now I'm going to try to like approach people more often when it comes to that. And, I know that it's a difficult thing since I'm white passing to just be like, hey, I'm black. But
Well, so for people who might listen and don't understand like what
yeah.
it means to be like white passing, can you kind of elaborate on that? Or
No, absolutely. So like, everybody knows that niggas come in different shades and sizes.
oh man, I don't know if we should really double down on this whole like N word thing right
Okay,
now.
excuse me. My bad. Everybody knows that people come in different shades, right? No matter the
Hmm.
race, they come in different shades. And a lot of the times when it comes to biracial individuals, meaning white and black, white and African American mixed children, right? You're going to have different variations of shades, some lighter than others. And when a lot of the more African American features are not so prominently out there, like as in darker skin, curlier hair, black or brown eyes, like or wider brim nose, like wider noses, that kind of shit. Like kids can come sometimes be passing as white, so nobody is questioning this individual's. Nobody is questioning this individual's like whiteness. Like nobody looks at that person and says like, oh, they're black, right? Like you can look at Bruno Mars, right, and be like, what are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Right?
Somebody who's not as culturally like
Yeah, racially
aware
ignorant.
or whatever might look at him and be like, oh, he's like mixed or some shit, but really he's just like Pacific Islander.
Islander.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank God. Thank you
Hawaiian
for
or some
teaching me
shit.
that word. And again, like that fucking classification of person, because I was dead ass saying a lot of horrible slurs. I was like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that y'all didn't like that. Thanks for letting me know.
I mean, Brett, you would hate it if people just called you African all day, right?
It would be weird. It would be
Yeah, it'd be
strange.
fucking weird, bro. It'd be fucking weird. But no, I thought it was real cool because as a dude who doesn't play Magic, and I know exactly why I don't fucking play Magic,
Yeah.
uh, hearing different people's experiences, it's a little eye opening. It's a little affirming because, like, people experience this type of shit in different spaces. They experience it in like cosplay spaces. They experience it in fucking, board games and all sorts of other shit. You know what I mean?
A point that was made in the video, right? Like being the black face in a white space, right? That seemed to resonate with a lot of people as well. Just kind of like in that operate, like dealing with their lives that way. There was a particular comment. This nigga wrote a fucking paragraph, so I'm not really gonna read the whole thing. But he was like, it was B Quing BQING 87. As a fellow Black American, I randomly started playing back in 2010. Due to a close friend of mine who invited me to a hobby store and play one day. I'd previously had general ideas of the game. Like the nigga basically goes in to basically say like the cards were really expensive, but as he got in, like he looked around and found like a lot of white dudes and shit like that, and kind of got turned off of the game and shit. And it wasn't
Is
until
that
like
what he said?
essentially like I started paraphrasing as the shit went on. I was like,
Because here's what I've learned with Magic people, right?
yeah,
And people who play Magic
magic
and shit
people,
like that.
yo, that's I
Yeah,
don't know.
Magic people. Fuck it. I don't know, man. I don't play Magic. But here's what I
I
learned with
don't know.
like Magic people.
That feels like weirdo in California.
It's like saying nigga when you don't need to. Not that I'm anti-nigga. I love how
Yeah,
I
I
feel about the
love
word. I
nigga. Like, yeah.
love it. But fucking damn, I done lost my fucking train
I
of
know you
thought.
was
Thanks,
real salty
dickhead.
about that nigga thing, and you were like, all
I'm not
right,
salty. I'm just, I mean, come on, bro. Like, goddamn, dude.
in the first 30 seconds, nigga.
This is
In
an
the first
introduction for a lot of people. You want people to walk away and be like, oh, he sure does love to say the N-word. Well, if he can say it, why can't I? I'm just looking down the barrel of the gun, bro. I'm just like, I don't want to hear that shit.
I get it. Because I mean, honestly, again, looking towards the future, looking towards growth, things to that degree, there's a level of things that you can't let slide. And when you build a certain culture, right, it ends up like just fucking slipping under the rug.
Yeah.
Like again, and you were saying, go ahead. I don't want to fucking cut you off. I go.
No, oh yeah. I remember. So with that dude's comment, what I've learned with like a lot of Magic people is just like they just accept that there's a lot of white folks in the space and just move the fuck on.
It's true, or they either they stay or they operate with their own white people, their own clique of whiteys, and then they just kind of like
You going off today?
I can't say anything anymore.
Can't say nothing, huh? You guys gonna fucking silence me, huh? What the fuck?
You're chopping my balls off, man. You're coming for my manhood here, man. You got it. Hey, man, you fucking up my mode, man. I'm trying to get my mode, dog.
I respect the mode.
Oh, Crimson got a dope question here. I wonder what's the percentage of Black people who started playing on their own versus who got into it because of friends. Honestly, most of the people that I saw in there were like in the comments, at least, were people that got into it because of friends. Because like the exposure for Magic the Gathering really wasn't there for like most lower income communities. Like it just wasn't like if you didn't have cable, one, like you missed out on a lot, right? Like it was not even a situation of like you even having to be like you wouldn't be up on the latest toys because you didn't even watch fucking TV. You don't have time to get
Bro,
commercials.
I've never seen a fucking Magic the Gathering commercial in my life. It was during research for the
Yeah,
fucking video that I'm like,
that
oh,
you found that lame ass commercial with them all on the
a
beach.
few lame ass commercials
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, no, it's bad. And that was
Yeah,
like back in the like early 90s.
yeah, like MTV and fucking Comedy Central and shit.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I forgot the
Now,
fucking song.
granted, I mean that audience skews like the Magic the Gathering audience skews a little bit older, so that's
Yeah.
makes sense, I guess.
It also, I mean,
But from what I've seen, because like niggas on the boat, they'll play. Damn, you got me doing it. Freaking
oh my God, the podcast where we've said nigga for 3 years.
yeah. That was before you. That was before you had a whole bunch of people who play Magic come into the audience.
You're really out here. Oh, this is because my Facebook is still up here. Get that out.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on, dickhead. Yeah, nah. Like dudes on a boat, like people will start playing like Magic out of boredom. Like people will have like pre-made decks or whatever, and they'll be like, "Here, man, come play with me." And then
Yeah.
they all sit in their little table and they like slam the cards on the table and shit. It's
It's a
kind of cool. I mean, personally, the first time somebody ever pimped it to me, my homeboy, I don't know if I can say his name, but my homeboy, yeah, he ain't got no alias, but my homeboy was like, "Hey man, we're gonna get into Magic." And he was like, "You just made that decision?" He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get into Magic," and like he just started passing it around, and he got in that culture.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's how I got into it. A homie was like, "Hey, honestly, he was using Magic to hook up with a chick. Like
That's
he had
sick.
like no, it was just the way it was. She had nothing to do at night, right? And so he would be like,
Which
wide
friend is this?
awake. It's Patrick from
Yeah, all right, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
his real name.
My man's could do it without it. But anyway.
Yeah, either way. But yeah, no. So homegirl had nothing to do. You know how it gets like with the fucking manic pixie dream girls. Like, they just be out there like, oh, home life's so bad. So now I'm just walking the streets. It's 2 a.m. And then he's always up. So he was texting her, and then she was just like, I'm going to Whataburger. I don't know what I'm gonna do for the next few hours. Also, we do play Dungeons and Dragons. I play a lot of
Dungeons and Dragons.
I play Dungeons and Dragons like a
You play Dungeons and Dragons
every week if I can. And if I can't, then
let's address like the rest of the comments. Well, at least the positive ones. Let's address the rest of the positive things, and then I'll get into why I don't fuck with fantasy.
Yeah, but can I finish the fucking story? Can I finish?
Yeah, my bad, G. My bad.
Yeah, because I mean, like the fact that he used Magic the Gathering to get pussy was like incredible. Like I was actually quite impressed. But yeah, so she would go to Whataburger at like 2 a.m. and he would just walk.
I know who this person is. All right,
walk from his crib.
I know who it is.
To Whataburger, and they would chill, and then oh shit, like hey Crimson, shout out. Hey, look, if you really want to play, like this next bit of content that's coming out, like right, you could be on the next list. Like you could be on the next list. I enjoy newcomers. There's some shit, but yeah, no, good looking out. We see you. But yeah, so like there, he would be in there, and she was like, "What are we gonna do?" She's like, I found these old Magic cards that my brother had. Like, did you ever play Magic? He's like, no, I never played Magic. He's like, well, I kind of know how to play. And so she started teaching him how to play Magic. He was like, okay, cool. So he learned pretty quick, and they got to chopping it up, and soon it became like a nightly thing, right? So one night I'm pulling in from the fucking big city, right? In the middle of the night, I'm drunk. I want to go ahead and get some food. And I walk in and I'm like, oh, damn, what y'all doing?
Yeah, you see the sick ass sight of your homeboy playing Magic with this girl.
What y'all got going over here?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You proceeded to cock block.
I did. I proceeded to sit right down and be like, yo, this game looks interesting, man. Let me play. They have two decks.
Over. Why don't you make some room for me?
They have 2 decks, right? So somebody got to sit out.
Yeah.
So I took her deck. She just handed it to me. And so we played for hours, and she just watched. She was just happy to have company. And then after that, it became
like a weird time. What a weird time to be alive.
Nah, man. But after that, like I got hooked on the game, right? And I was just like, okay, cool. And soon we stopped playing without.
I'm trying not to. I keep seeing it in my eyes because I know exactly which girl you're talking about.
Yes, my nigga. And it was crazy because after a while, she just got like.
Cool.
Hey, look, Patrick just like started asking his mom. She was like, "Yo, look, can I just bring her here at night? Like, she doesn't like to stay at her mom." And his mom said, "Yes." It's so crazy that like fucking crazy. Like white people's friends, like white parents are fucking fantastic because it's just like, okay, cool. You know what's about to happen. You
Yeah,
know
Miss
what's
A is
about to
cool.
happen. It's
Miss
1
A is
a.m.
cool.
She is not here to cuddle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, cool.
Oh,
So
quick question. Have you ever been that cock block friend? I just
who
gotta know.
me?
I've done it. Yeah, you. I've done it a
No,
couple of times.
no. As a value, I don't.
That's crazy.
As a
That's
value,
crazy.
I leave niggas the
It's
fuck
kind of
alone.
fun to me because if you're getting more action than me, right? And I'm around.
Yeah, let me find out you a fucking hater.
I'm not a hater, right? I'm not a hater. I'm not trying to steal anybody. I'm not trying to make anybody like. I'm not trying to be like super turned up energy so that she's more attentive to me than you.
You wouldn't even said that out loud if you didn't actually do it.
No, quite literally, I'll just like if I know that y'all been fucking have been fucking, especially in high school. That was like high school shit. I'm not gonna how the fuck do you cock block a middle-aged man? Like just you could fucking accidentally make the wrong call. You could present
Definitely
the
cock
fuck up.
block a middle-aged man.
Either way, yada yada. I've been a serial cock blocker before. It's funny as fuck to me because it's like it's not even on purpose. Like the one party is completely oblivious to the fact that they've even been cock blocked. The other person is upset, obscenely upset. So you have to talk to that individual after the situation. Like, what the fuck were you doing, man? Why didn't you just leave? You could have just went.
Well, no, because like, how do you not walk into a room and be like, there's a vibe?
No. You enter the room with them. You don't just walk. If you walk in on people, that's fucked up.
They radiate that energy of like we're trying to get something popping.
Nah, one nigga is radiating that energy. They are trying to get something popping.
You can read it on their face. They be looking at you like
the other individual is just happy to have friends.
Right. That's fucked up. Anyway. That's fucked up.
You could say I'm a champion of the people, man. You can say that I have prevented a various amount of regrettable decisions.
I don't think that's a regrettable decision. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and talk about this the whole time because I'm here to talk about magic niggas, right? Because what I've learned with magic people is like, and I feel like I've said this already, but fucking with the magic people, right? Like they get in these circles and they're like, all right, I'm just cool being there. And I think that for a lot of folks in these circles, they get real defensive about new people in the circle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's nerd shit, man. I think that's the
gate. That is nerd shit.
I think that's not even just nerd shit. I think that's culture. Sometimes people get very gatekeepy about their culture. Once you feel invested in something enough to even call it a culture, a fandom, it becomes something very important to you. And not for some reason, because there is a degree of protection that needs to happen. That needs to happen with cultures and shit. But like we get to the point where we are like bristled. Like it's just like everybody's these porcupines of like cultures and fandoms and shit.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You know me, man. I'm a little high. Like
anyway,
everybody's a porcupine, right?
Right. No, I get it. You end up like making contact with different things.
Yeah,
and you're like, all right,
it just makes everybody
in your lane.
Exactly. Everybody gets bristled. Like that's all I mean. Is that like when new people
committed to bristled, aren't you?
I like it, nigga. The word
committed to that motherfucker.
Like when I committed, like when I dropped my first thesaurus, nigga, when I first got that bitch, I picked out a great deal of words, and I was just like, these are words that I will just continue to use my whole life. It doesn't matter what the situation is, as long as it's applicable. And it doesn't even have to be fully applicable. I could just like applicable. I could have just said, like,
yeah, no, I get it. And I'm not here to beat words down. You know what I'm saying?
I know, man, but you hate
English
that
is a torturous language. Now,
there's no need to speak thesaurus, nigga.
Anywho's, get into the comments, man, because I want to move on from this particular thing.
Of course. So, like, did you pick out any of the comments that you were fucking with?
Boy, I ain't had no type of time, man.
This nigga.
Boy, I ain't had no. Okay, I even tried to outsource the work, but that's a side. That's a side comment.
Shout out to everybody you blindsided with that, right? Like, shout out to everybody you assigned homework that didn't ask for it. Like, I love that shit. Like,
that's my favorite thing. I like when people give me homework. I like when people like.
That's the thing, man. And I want to discuss. We don't have to discuss this, but it's a part of your personality, right? That you generally don't like having idle hands, nigga. You don't like having idle hands in the fucking slightest. So if you have an opportunity to fucking work on something, you will. And so you'll even seek out fucking work for other people. Like it's just like, hey,
You're
what do
damn
you
right.
got
And if you
going
don't
on?
do it, then you just
Thank you
don't
so
do it.
much. And it's really appreciated. It's like, thank you so much for your time and appreciation. You've helped me out. So now I'm gonna fucking build a tower for you. I'm gonna fucking like, and that's a fantastic part of you. Like I really do love that, right? But like
Thank
sometimes,
you. I didn't need my ass kissed in this moment, but thank you.
hey, look, nah, I was about to go on a whole diatribe about your ass, and that's not good.
No need for that. Not live.
Hey,
Anyway,
sometimes the intrusive thoughts they almost win, but I
yeah,
caught myself that time.
you got to get that shit together. All
Uh,
right, man. Comments, man. Comments.
yeah,
I know you screenshotted a couple, man.
yeah,
Get into it.
I got a couple. Are we reading whole comments, man? Because you know how like fucking. Because somebody like the one thing I'm saying is that a lot of people wrote like very intricate comments. There we go. Here we go. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Shout out. Let's do a funny one. This is from Zeno. The person who taught me magic was a drug dealer who used to sell me sacks when I got out of high school. He would just sit at the park all day, and I started smoking with him, and he asked if I ever played magic and proceeded to teach me and gave me my first 2 decks. Yes, he was black, and yes, I still. Oh, damn! You said no magical Negroes, but
No, wait, hold on, man. I didn't say. Hey, man. You know that's behind the scenes shit. Move
Oh,
on.
my bad.
That's behind the scenes shit. I'll speak on it. I'll speak on it because there's a couple of them. Because I've noticed that a lot of the comments come in different genres, right? And
Indeed.
one of the genres is like, and I don't mind this genre nearly as much as I mind the like other genres of comment. It's the well, actually, a black guy showed me the game, right?
Oh yeah, that one, but like they're different tones. I get what you mean by the
There
false
are different tones. I will
genres.
say that because there's one tone that's trying to be dismissive of even the notion that like
This could be a thing. Like, what do you mean black people don't play magic, or why don't black people play magic? Everybody I play with is black. Like I learned from a black male.
Yeah.
Like the old black dude at the shop, he taught me how to play magic, and I'm like, that's fantastic for you, man. But like the experience is kind of like the game is international, right? Like it's not a game that's like just something random out the fucking blue. Niggas in China and fucking Japan play the shit. Like there's a Malay, like Italian champions all the time. Like
yeah, it's a global game.
Yeah, it's a global game. So I mean,
which is why I'm just like, hey, you know what I mean? And maybe that's where I fucked up because when I wrote the script or when we wrote the script, whatever narrative we're going
when you wrote the script, like, you wrote the script, you
when the script was written, right? Like it was solely from the perspective of a black American. And it was more or less written with the intent of trying to reach other, black magic areas. You said what?
Yeah, we were trying to reach other black Americans.
Yeah, well, not just black Americans, just people who could relate to the experience. Now, granted, when you put something out there and you said what?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Yeah, when you're trying to relate to the experience or whatever, like you're gonna kind of like when you put anything on the internet, you're gonna like pick up different people. And there are parts where I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. Like there are certain people like with like foreign backgrounds that commented.
Yeah,
I'm like,
there was a Finnish guy that came through and was just like, this is so interesting. And what was the word I used that when we were talking about that in pre-pro? It was fascination. I used
that's the word he used in the comment. Yeah. And he said, wow, black American, America is so fascinating. Now, in my experience with people who are not from the States, they usually say that kind of as a dig.
Indeed, it's just
and
like
maybe it wasn't in this particular situation, so I'm not gonna let it go.
No,
me, I'm an angry dude, so I'm trying not to lead with like, what you mean by that?
There are some comments that definitely did deserve that, like a couple of people that were just like, over here everybody plays, and there's a multi-diverse area in this area, and it's so crazy the way America just wants to divide themselves consistently and constantly. Why not just enjoy the game and who you're playing with, and type of situation to that degree?
And I understand that, and hey, man, I get it, but it's also like there's a lot of people here who didn't choose to immigrate here.
It's true.
So there's like a lot of animosity, and like I don't have to explain like the black American experience entirely here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Is like that was not what we were attempting to encompass, right? Because that's kind of the idea for the show. It's not even encompassing the whole black experience, but this is the young black nerd experience, right? This was just literally like a slice of that pie. It was just saying like, hey, Magic the Gathering, right? Like this is an area where there's not a large black population, right? We're already a minority. And I'm one of those people that play Magic the Gathering. And when I look around at tables and different things like that, because I've had the opportunity to play in multiple areas. I haven't just been in Texas. I've been to fucking Maryland, Virginia, and I've seen Maryland, Virginia, Pittsburgh, fucking Philadelphia, all the blah, 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 fucking 50 states and shit.
Right. You played in other areas in the states.
Other areas, right? And the thing is that the ratio is still low everywhere you go, right?
Yeah. And now there are comments that were saying like the reason or one of the reasons that it's so low is because like the population of Black Americans is low. You know what I mean? And to a degree, I'm like, that's kind of true. But if that's the case, then you should be able to line up 13 people in a row and be like, all right, there's a Black dude every time. If you have 130 people in a line, you should be able to be like, okay, there's 10 Black dudes over there. You know,
the math should check out every fucking time.
Right. And also, just on top of that, my experience with playing and being around people who play this game isn't always positive.
No, and neither has mine. Neither has mine been. Like, outside of my normal everyday play group, like niggas that I've known for like 12 years, 13 years, longer than that, some. Like, outside of that, like, I have been met, and just like this comment, the nigga that commented earlier was like, sometimes there's a racial joke that we just thought would go ahead and slide just because I'm at the table, right? My presence has literally affected this situation so much that you felt the need to like drop this dumbass joke. Right. And you felt like, okay, cool. Like, you're going to get that off because I'm here with you guys. Right. And that means that I'm synonymous with your views. But that's not the case. And it's not always every table. I can't say that's every play group, but it's something that I have experienced in the past.
Right. Well, I mean, I just think that's what happens when you get like a group of people together and they don't have to think about what their words or their actions mean from a cultural standpoint. You know what I mean?
I mean, true, because everybody's sitting down to play a game, but I mean, like, it's
not just like everybody is sitting down to play a game, but it's just like, come on, bro. It's like you get into like what do you call it? How do you even explain it? Like, you go work somewhere where there's not a lot of Black people or whatever, right?
Yeah. So the culture.
Or you go work somewhere where it's not a lot of other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So
like,
a lot of things are getting said without you like in mind.
Yeah. No. Like, your presence isn't even taken into account. Like,
right.
And sometimes, I mean, I get it. Like, no one's asking for special treatment to that degree or anything like that, but just don't be openly fucking racist. Don't be, like, don't be dismissive either. Like, it's just the situation of like, people sat down to play a game and suddenly like you have to deal with the alternative experience as well layered on top of that. It's like, okay, cool, I'm Black, and now we have to address that. Like, this is a part.
Well, you don't even have to address it. Just keep it in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I see this a lot in like fantasy spaces, like places where people are like, you know, like playing Dungeons and Dragons, like Crimson said, or fucking like just talking about like high fantasy novels and all that other stuff. A lot of the times it's like things are getting said that don't consider other people. You feel me?
I mean, give an example. I mean, I know that's I get the statement, right, but it's a little vague. Like, if you could come off like a little bit more.
Okay, so like, you know, I mean, say just I'm not calling anybody racist or whatever, right? Just times I played with you, or like not played with you, but like been around your friend group.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, no, I get it.
I didn't have to make it personal. And for the most part, your friend group is cool. For the most part.
But there are some niggas in at that table that have an edgelord sense, and they kind of overstep a boundary in the line, and I have to check them. I have to check them from time to time.
Yeah, because and granted, like, you know, on one hand, I'm sure they're thinking like, well, why the fuck do I have to censor myself because, you know, this dude decided to show up, or why do you suddenly care about this type of shit? But it's just like, bro, if this is truly something that's open for everybody, then it needs to consider a little bit of everybody. I'm not saying, you know, roll out the red carpet. I'm not saying like move shit out the way so I can sit here, but I am saying like, hey, when I'm sitting here, don't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
for the sake of it, because I wouldn't do that to you.
Look, there's some shit there's some shit that's let slide because we talk mad shit, right? That's just a part of it. But when it comes to individuals that you don't know like that, motherfucker, no, I had to check them. And I get that. Like, some people at the table don't always they don't think about, like, just like you said, they don't think about what the fuck they have to say. Like, right, the social situation now, like, because you sat down to play this game, right, you're also sitting down into a social situation, like a social environment, right? And with the lack of cues, with the lack of understanding or sheer ignorance, I believe, like, sometimes you'll say some dumbass shit. Or sometimes people will say some dumbass shit. And
No, and you know what? Crimson actually just put up a good point. You know how niggas get with barbershop talk, you know what I'm saying, or locker
yeah,
room talk, and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you might, because I might let the B word fly when I'm around some homeboys or whatever, and you know that's not right. That's not fucking right in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
no, I get
But
it.
it's solely because like you're in a room and not considering everybody in the room, and you're just so used to this space being occupied by people who, you know, either don't care or don't think about it. And, you know, you might even revert to that headspace where it's just like, oh, well, why do I have to care? Or why should I get to that point? And I think that, you know, like fantasy, fucking Magic the Gathering, all that other shit,
Mm.
it's been such a, how do you say it? It's been such a space that is, fuck, man, how do you fucking say it?
It's a space that incubates like toxicity.
No, because I won't say that either. Because like you get people, you get the same type of person in a room long enough, like niggas is gonna get toxic.
That's
But
true.
fucking like
It's been such a
it's
like
been taking advantage of the fact that like it's been primarily like
a
white
boys
men
club,
for a
like
while.
a white boys club.
Yeah, I mean I don't like using that word, but yeah, I feel you. Like even like you know political spaces and shit. You know what I mean? Like why would I ever consider the needs of somebody else if I've never had to deal with somebody else?
I never had to deal with anybody like this, and on top of that, I'm not like I've been ostracized or I've had a
Right. And it's a different type of well, it's not even a different type. Like it is different. It's a different type of ostracization, but I don't think people are applying empathy that often. Now, granted, they're like this is like the response to the video has been overwhelmingly positive. You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? Like the like to dislike ratio is like 95%. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the people some of the worst comments aren't getting any attention.
Yeah, and it shows that the community or at least the environment that's being bred in the comment section isn't leaning like really negative, isn't leaning like slightly racist or incelly.
Yeah. But like seeing fucked up comments like the dude who did the bell curve comment.
Oh yeah, the bell curve was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Bell curve, that nigga that was like, this video's racist. That shit was
Like
crazy.
this is coming off kind of racist, and that's the one. That's the comment that kind of haunts me a little
Yeah,
bit because it's just like this is giving off a racist vibe, and I'm like, well, why is it giving off a racist vibe? It's literally just like, hey, you know,
we didn't attack whites once. Like,
yeah, I never like nobody ever once brought up like issues with white people. It's more like, you know, these are some of the cultural barriers that like black people experience getting into this. How did this become about white people?
yeah,
But you know
where
what
did
they say, a hit dog gonna holler.
oh every time, every goddamn time. If you're a motherfucking hammer, everything look like a nail, goddamn. So
Yeah.
if you're a racist son of a bitch, you might just have to see
Well, I
racism.
mean, I don't want to call him a racist either, because you know, what I mean, at the end of the day, and that's what's so odd about a lot of these spaces, and that's why I'm just like, hey, when it comes to your platform and shit, it's smart to think about kind of how you're coming off,
Mhm.
because for a lot of people, like you know, you're their first foray into this type of shit,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was
and
like,
not just you, like other people like that. So like when
yeah, no,
you,
anybody that's alternative in some of these spaces, like anybody that's a BIPOC. I hate that word. I don't hate that word, but
I
it's
like it, I'm not mad at it.
I don't know. BIPOC sounds it just sounds it doesn't roll off the tongue the way I would like it to.
Well, I mean, maybe if you just don't say it out loud like that.
Maybe I mean in print it doesn't seem as bad, but then saying it out loud like it's just like a motherfucker. Like
No, please go on. Tell me about how much you hate us. It's
I don't know.
black indigenous person of color. You know what
Welcome
I'm saying?
whites.
Black, comma, indigenous, comma, person of color.
What?
That's what like black people,
No, I mean I get
indigenous
what
people,
BIPOC means. I mean I
person
get
of
that.
color.
I thought you were reading a comment for a second. I'm like,
No. Because I'm kind of like I feel like you know I've gave the blanket statement on like a lot of the comments and shit, so I
yeah.
don't really have to speak too much.
No, I get you. I get you. I'm looking at this shit. Do you know what another thing that I saw a lot of the comments in was the fucking niggas play, well, not niggas, black people play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Black people do
And
play Yu-Gi-Oh.
it was hold on. White people who don't like when black people censor their black experience and their opinions are racist. That's I mean, like that's a take. That's a take. It's not that
It's
I
not a
don't
take. I mean, it's more or less true.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not that I disagree with that situation. It's one of those things where like the statement is very true, right? But as everything, there's a gray area. So I'm like, okay, cool.
There's
Like
no gray area because I think anytime you listen to somebody else, I'm not gonna say. Well, let me
that's true.
dial
If you
back
listen
because
to somebody's
there is a
experience,
gray
right?
area. There is a gray area, right?
Yeah,
But it's not the gray area that excuses shit.
absolutely not. Yeah, no, that's okay. I get what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should definitely call a spade a spade. Racist term. Um,
Very
but
racist term.
yeah, but you should definitely when you see something, you call it like it is, like right, and being able to call it out, right, is like should be the not privilege, but should be the proper way of going about that situation, right, so that you can have a conversation and possibly educate or possibly like just eliminate that situation at the get go. And it's very difficult, right, to even try to form like a conflict in that. Like one thing I'll say is that even in the negative, like one thing we are not doing is going back into the comments and getting under that motherfucker.
Oh no. I've only replied to positive comments.
Yeah,
I've only and as a rule, I'm like I'm only gonna reply to people who are being positive. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I think that and it's just like it said right there. It's like people who say things like I don't see color, so why should you? Right?
indeed. Yeah,
A
and
lot of
it's
the comments are like that.
yeah, no, it's true. It's like, oh, what do you mean?
And I
Like,
think at the end of the day, if you're not considering somebody else's experience, like because at the end of the day, like, what do you mean you don't see color? What
yeah.
do you mean you're not perceiving? Like,
What do
because
you mean
it's my
this?
cultural, it's where
Yeah,
I come from.
yeah. What do you mean this perspective is completely alien and doesn't make any sense? Like, what do you
Right.
mean? What do you mean by that? Like, because this is my life. Like, I didn't make this up. I didn't just go online and Google fucking Magic the Gathering, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, what did you
Keep
say that was
pushing,
being
bro.
racist?
Keep pushing.
Yeah, no, like I didn't go online and Google fucking Magic the Gathering and decide, I bet there's not a lot of black people that play that shit. No, I think I went and played the goddamn game. So
Yeah.
it's like the thing is that yes, my perspective was this, and it was not even a situation of saying like that Magic the Gathering is racist. Magic the Gathering breeds like toxicity or some shit like that. It was just literally saying it was like, oh, I see. Wizards of the Coast didn't really take their time to like pimp this game to anybody really. And so the only people that sat around and played the game were people that were already in a fucking adjacent space, i.e., high fantasy people or people that spend a lot of time at LGSs, right? And so it became this area where this is where people play, this is how people play. And if a black person made it in, then cool. Like, it was never
Mm-hmm.
a situation of trying to
Right.
alienate black people. It just wasn't going after lower class individuals. It wasn't going after anybody that wasn't adjacent to the space. Because
And that's fair. And hey, man, I
yeah,
get it. I
yeah,
fucking get it. But it's a different time. You know what I mean? Because now you have a healthy population of people who are playing this game and indulging in this space, and oftentimes they have to deal with like microaggressions and all types of other bullshit, or not even just microaggressions, because that's not what the video was necessarily about. It was really just
no,
about the cultural barriers. But what I've experienced is a lot of microaggressions, a lot of weird antisocial, somewhat anti-black, somewhat anti-other culture behavior.
yeah.
Now, granted, your experience may vary. You know what I mean? You actually play the game. And that's just my initial like interaction with a lot of this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that again, being a young black male from the South, right? There's a degree of things that I let slide, right? There's a level of like racism that I'm kind of almost like I have a
I
barrier.
won't say it's racism, more so like ignorance or intolerance.
Ignorance, intolerance, like I mean, there's a level of it. There's a level of that that just kind of rolls off the skin. Like I'm like a duck with that shit. Like it doesn't even phase me. So like because again, like I walk up the road, if I go drink, if I go get a beer at a bar or something like that, like 2 feet over, like there's a guy that's saying the N-word. Like it's not a thing that I'm necessarily like I'm gonna get up and fight you over it immediately. Like that's just not.
True. No, then you'd have to fight a lot of niggas in one
I have
day.
to fight everybody. Like I'm not
And
everybody,
it's
but I have
just
to fight
that's
everybody.
exhausting. But
Yeah,
what I will say is just like,
but
what
oh yeah.
about the next dude though?
Yeah, and it's true. It's like, what about the guy who does pop off, right? What
Yeah.
about the individual who doesn't have that, who's not that, not to say that they're not thick skinned, but
I
who
won't even say thick skin. Like,
yeah,
what
no, that's
about
what
the
I'm saying. Like just the person that it says that I'm not going to take this, or the person that decides that I'm going to do something about it, right? And it causes an issue, causes a problem.
well, even taking it off of the prospect of like possibly coming to blows or whatever, right? You might just come across some
I mean, an
guy
argument. Like
who what?
I mean like an argument too. Like I mean, like sometimes
Not
this
even
happens.
just an argument, bro. I'm just like something as simple because like everybody's not gonna pop off, but it is like if
Oh, but it
I
does
walk into
alienate
it.
people.
If you said what?
but it does alienate people. I see
It
what you
alienates the fuck out of people. Like you
mean.
like walk into a room and somebody's going crazy with this shit, and it's just like, damn, if this is the way they talk, man, I don't need to be here.
I don't even need to be here. No, I
And is
get it.
that the fucking mentality you want people to fucking have? Now, I'm not saying that all these spaces are fucking racist, because at
Yeah,
the end
no,
of the
and
day, I think it's more systematic than it is fucking like an actual attitude held by people.
as we
But this is a
discussed,
grander conversation about fucking that
yeah,
type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I mean? I've been in spaces where I'm hearing somebody let they shit off, and I'm
get
just
it,
like,
man.
bro, making this an issue right now is not fucking worth it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's because, like, again, the game itself. I cannot blame. I'm not blaming the game, like, right? Like, I get like the lack of exposure, things to that degree, right? I think it's really just like the type of environment that can be facilitated when you just have like four or
One
five
type of person, yeah.
yeah, one type of person all sitting down in one room. Like it just becomes a thing of like, oh, this is our culture now, and we can kind of like get whatever we want off. And when somebody's on the outside coming in, like, right here we are to make jokes. We're here to kind of like you're kind of a guest here. Like you're a visitor, right?
Yeah,
And
you
so
mean you don't belong here,
exactly,
which is
you,
fucked up.
yeah. And I mean that's what
And
I'm
I
saying.
mean, like, granted, when it comes to shit like motorcycle clubs and shit like that, I don't go in there because, like, nigga, I
No,
don't belong in there. That's not for
no,
me. You know what I mean?
that is definitely
There's
not
an
on my
actual
list.
initiation process that I ain't got no business dealing with. Niggas in gangs, like, I don't go over there. You know what I mean? I don't go to certain places if I know that there's an actual criteria or
Yeah.
whatever, right? But this is a fucking card game.
And it shouldn't be, and that's the whole thing. It was like that. What was the bear? That was the thought process of the video was like, what were the barriers that were like put in, like not put in place, but that ended up in being erected that stopped a lot of black people from gravitating towards the game, like something say like Yu-Gi-Oh, because that card game.
It
I
was
mean, even
literally
now,
pimped to everybody.
yeah, exactly. I mean, niggas. And one thing I'll say is that niggas will know what a Pokemon is, right? But they don't know how to play the Pokemon card game, right?
Shout out to
Even me,
Pokemon.
even me, I'm fucking foggy as fuck on the Pokemon card game. Like I just was never a thing that I fucked with. Like
They
you could
look good in a binder.
yeah, exactly. You could get the card at McDonald's, and now I'm gonna stick it in a fucking binder. That's just kind of where it's at. Like,
Stunting on
yeah,
niggas. Nah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sit up here and harp on it much, like much longer. But I do think that, like, you know, there was an overwhelming response that was like entirely positive, not entirely, but that was mostly positive. And I think that in these types of situations where you're trying to reinforce a culture of acceptance and understanding, you know what I mean, you really need to highlight the positive. But bruh, some of these motherfuckers, some of these comments are just
yeah.
like,
No,
bro, why would you even say that?
here's one. This is one from Geomancy. It's not the one that's like super racist. I was trying to find that one for you, Crimson, but it's from this guy named Geomancy. It was like pretty interesting video, but I have to say my experience with MTG has been the opposite. I oftentimes visit three local game stores, and in all they are located in fairly white areas, and yet the majority of players are Hispanic and black. My favorite game store has typically like 7 Hispanic guys, 5 black guys, 2 or 3 white guys, and on Friday, my Egyptian friend and Armenian friend come. I'm sorry, that's funny as fuck. He just went down and like fucking, you counted, nigga. Like you counted every different. Okay, whatever. Either way,
No, I get it. And I mean, maybe he was trying to drive a point home, but
yeah,
I
I get it.
don't think, like, when you list off the number of races that walked into a room, that's not really helping a point.
No. And he's like, and if anything, we get less Asians, maybe 1 or 2. And some girlfriends do come with their boyfriends to play. Not trying to belittle your experiences. I'm sure outside of my experience, what you're saying is true, but it's interesting how our experience is different, right?
That is a very measured way to respond to that.
Exactly. And so I'm
And
like,
I do appreciate it. I'm not gonna sit up here and nitpick, like,
I
you
had
know
to
what I mean?
laugh.
Like,
I like again. I read the comment because I was like, "Oh, this is not bad," but I had to laugh at the portion where you go through and you literally like number each race of people here. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm very interested to know what fucking part of the US that is. Like, is that
Well, I
California?
mean, I wouldn't even, because, like, I think, one, you can never take your experience and make it the default. And he didn't, or they didn't. I don't know if it's a
No, it
matter of
was
one.
very clear to say, like, hey, this was not me trying to like, take away from what you had. It's just interesting to see that it was different. Oh, here's one. Please, LOL, in NY, it was a whole team of us, like 9 actually. We called ourselves the staff of black mages. Now my daughters play quite frequently. They're black females who play Magic, and I love it. See,
Hey,
like,
man, appreciate you, bro.
yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's New York.
Shout out.
That's New York,
Yeah,
and it's a very diverse place.
and I get it.
So I'm glad. I'm glad. I
Yeah.
just, And one thing that had kind of made me uncomfortable a little bit was like everybody feeling the need to go in there and qualify.
Yeah, I'm an ally, and I've had the experience. And
Or I have black friends or my daughters play, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like, hey man, like I get it. Like maybe think about the guy who didn't have what you have.
I don't know, look 3 comments up and see the person that's like, yo, this was exactly how I felt. I don't know.
I don't know. And I'm not here to tear down people who were nice enough to comment entirely.
Of course. That's
You
the
know what
thing.
I
Is
mean?
like you felt the need to fucking put something underneath the video, and I'm cool with it. Like I again, the racism again, we don't fucking even fuck with that. It's lost in the comments. Like I've been looking for this racist comment. It's
It's in
fucking
there, and I don't feel the need to even give it more highlight than what it
yeah.
is.
That I'm just saying
But
that's how long
and
it's taken.
also like I'm trying to avoid using the term racism because I'll tell you something about racists. Not even racist, but like internet, like intolerant people on the internet, right? They're looking for that moment to tell you that you're wrong.
Ah, yeah.
They're waiting for a chance to like they're not even listening to what the fuck you're saying. They're waiting for their opportunity to tear you down or tear your argument down instead of just like listening to you, right? So the second you call something racist, they're gonna be like, "How is this fucking racist? The definition of racism is X, Y, Z, T, Y, whatever the fuck, right?" And instead of just being like, "Hey, that experience is valid," or "Hey, that experience makes sense," you good? You enjoy blowing your nose?
Yeah, man. I had to get it out there. I was like, oh no, the mucus, it's coming.
Yeah, that's nasty. But
Yeah, it's gross.
yeah. But I don't know. And like the second you call something racist and it's not like entirely based in like actual racist facts.
Yeah, because you become the boy who cried wolf. Like you don't
Yeah.
want.
Or like you get the boy, you become the black dude that cried fucking racism, and it's like, bro, I'm not trying to
Yes,
hear all that.
but I know. But the thing about it is that I think that the reason that we're so like worried about that is because of the fact that like the demographic for the channel is possibly changing.
Yeah, that is
And,
something
like,
that is something to think about.
and so it becomes a thing where it's like, oh wow, like we put out the net, right? We put out a bunch of different hooks, and this is what we caught. And no offense to anybody that like came through and subscribed because of Magic things, because it's a game I love. It's rich in lore and it's high fantasy and it's dope and there's a lot of
Get
different.
off that game's dick,
I
man.
love
Damn.
the game, nigga.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little fucking. The community can be non-self-aware and they didn't pimp the game right, but it itself is actually very cool. It has a litany of characters
No.
and lore and shit.
And hey, man, I'm fucking with it. I'm fucking with it.
It's
I'm
about
fucking with it.
basically. I get it. I like it. You love it. Blah blah blah. You know, I get it. Like oh god damn, my whole shoulder popped. That felt great. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, again, Magic's something very near and dear to my heart, right? But it's not the end all be all for the channel, right? So shout out to everybody that showed up for Magic, right? And shout out to everybody that like shared out their experiences and shit to that degree, right? And to anybody that was like openly racist, fuck you. And to anybody that was just like generally nice and somewhat dismissive, like, hey, you know, maybe you'll get educated. Who knows? Like, I appreciate everybody that showed up. That's the thing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that the channel demographic might be changing soon, or like might be on the road to changing, it's nerve wracking. But you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I got faith in it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I feel like it was not necessarily easier, right? But it was like the thought process of going like, hey, like
You
what
have to think as much.
yeah, exactly. Well, that exactly. I was like, what would fucking 14-year-old me love to catch online? Like what
Yeah,
would
that's always been the mentality. Like whatever. What would I want to see if
yeah.
I was younger?
Or not even that I'm trying to target 14-year-olds, but basically it's like, hey, all the
Yo,
things
chill.
that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, like all the things that were not to say that again, like we're going for the younger audience, right? It's more so like the things that I didn't think was possible, right? When I was 14, right? To have like, oh, like I'm gonna get a creator that's black and he's gonna talk about this, and this, right? I'm gonna get a creator that's black and he's going to discuss in depth about this, right? Or someone like, and it's not always like, oh, it's a creator that's black, but like these are the things that I really liked and wish that people would talk about, right? And I didn't see it from my perspective. I didn't see it from that thing. Like everybody that I watched that talked about anime, right? There were people that could watch it every fucking week. There were people that could go through and buy like manga volumes and shit. Like I never heard anybody sit down and go like, nah, man, I watched like reruns of this show for like a year straight because Toonami just wasn't getting off their ass, or like they had to wait on some shit. And I had to like research what the fuck a manga or a mangaka was because I didn't know why it was taking fucking 3 years for this episode to come out. Like this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
hey, man, I think you're doing a great job, like making it happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just it's an open-ended thing that I'm just like, damn, what we
yeah.
gonna do? Well, I know what we gonna do. We got
And we're
we
gonna
got
keep
big plans and shit.
exactly. We're gonna keep that motherfucking ball rolling,
We
bitch.
just gonna keep all trucking like this shit never happened.
Exactly.
But
Because the thing is that remember, Power Rangers dropped, right? And it was like, oh shit, Power Ranger niggas are here. And then the ones that stayed, and the ones that left, they left.
yeah,
But now they're
true.
here for like Power Rangers plus us, right? And so I'm like, cool, Magic the Gathering people, awesome. So glad you're here, right? The ones that stay, awesome. The ones that go, like, more power to you. Find somebody that you love. Like, that's the cool thing about the internet. It's kind
For
of the
sure.
ending prospect of the fucking video. It was just like, yo, everything is for everybody now. So like, if you go online, like, you can find some shit for you that you didn't think was for you, bitch. Like, it's fucking fantastic. I love it.
For sure.
For
All right,
sure.
man. Well, I promise niggas. Well, I put in the fucking description that we were gonna talk about reboots and shit,
Oh, we
and we
are.
talked about it in pre-pro, and we're running out of time to be able to talk about it. So, do you want to
Yeah,
try to
no,
like
no, we're
dirty
gonna get
pivot
into it.
into that?
You already said we didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, so I was eating up the time. I was like, okay, cool, we got that. No, so hold on 1 second. Let me get the little sip
Yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, sure, by all means.
Mm.
Hey, by the way, guys, while he's taking a sip, we got a Discord coming on the way. You know, you guys just be on the lookout for that. Wow, we are sponsored by My Wallet most of the fucking time, and I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Shout out to the bros wallet. Big pockets, deep money, nigga. It
Now, hold
makes
on,
sense.
now, slow down. I ain't got big pockets, but anyway,
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Shout out to having privileges. It's so great, so nice. You really showed me what it would be like to be a young white man. All right.
so the Lilo and Stitch reboot, right?
Excuse me, man. Excuse me. That was a joke for all of you guys that don't know. Oh my god. But no, so I finally finished Trigun Stampede. I know I made a video about it, kind of discussing the situation, kind of talking about the fact that, like, we don't know if it's an adaptation. We don't know if it's a it's like a retelling of the story, which is the same thing as an adaptation, but either way, essentially, I was like, all right, I was very up in the air about how we wanted to go ahead and proceed about this. And so I watched the whole fucking series. Spoiler alert, like a mofo, it's a prequel. It's a prequel series. And I was like, holy shit, this wasn't an adaptation. This was a furthering of the story. This was even more information. Because when I noticed when we began the fucking story, it was like, this nigga's bounty is not high enough. The city of July is still standing. And I'm like, these are all key points in the fucking in the other anime. And in the manga in general, where it was like, oh shit, like, what the fuck? What's going on? Is this like telling the whole story? And it turned out it was. I'm not going to give all the spoilers in the world, other than the fact that, again, this happens prior to the 90s anime or the Funimation dub. This motherfucking anime, like, it was incredibly impactful, nigga. Like, the animation style, right? They cranked that shit up to 11. Again, I was worried about that 3D shit, but that shit was in, like, the way they did the final scene, right? Because the final confrontation between Vash and Knives is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in animation, and it was all 3D. I cried. I had a lot of feelings. I always love Trigun because it's a brother story, and I'm very close to my brothers. It's just a situation of like, oh, at never any point was anybody trying
I
to
get
kill
it, man. You like Trigun, man.
either way. But like, again, it was one of those beautiful things I've ever fucking seen. And if you have an opportunity to watch it, go back and check it out, because the revelation that it is a prequel is probably one of those like huge soaring moments. Like, if you're into Trigun, then this was definitely worth the watch. And it got me thinking. I was like, wow, these adaptations are getting better, right? Like, these people that are out there, like, taking these stories and slightly retelling them, or adding more to adding more to the stories themselves, they're getting better. And I begin to kind of worry. I'm like, I was harping on the fact that it seemed like nobody had any original ideas. Everybody's always remaking something. Like, we briefly discussed. Remember we talked about the Harry Potter situation, bro?
Yeah.
And the
No,
fact
I actually don't. I genuinely don't.
that
I
is so
don't.
crazy, because like we definitely had that conversation. We talked about it in
I'm
pre-pro.
certain we did. I'm
Yeah.
certain we did. And you know me, I'm a not a big fucking Harry Potter fan, but you know,
Yeah, but like, you were actually on the side of, okay. Either way, we'll bring
on the
it
side
up
of
again.
what? On the side of reboot?
That it
Yeah,
can be
reboot
good,
that
yeah,
motherfucker.
because they're
I
making the
want it
shit
rebooted. I'd love to see it rebooted.
rebooted as a TV show.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Well, not TV show, as I say, like a mini
It's a
series.
miniseries. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's great.
Yeah, and that's something that was your whole point there. And again, I was very trepidatious about that situation because I was like, what else are we going to do? Why not just put out an extended version of that? But in the midst of all this, they dropped some more news on us. They're adapting Twilight 2. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
Twilight
good.
series, they're making it a mini series. They're gonna make it a show, and I'm like, what are we gonna like? What? How is it all the books? Are we just doing Twilight? Are we doing? Are we gonna get the side stories like the fucking young vampire chick? What was her name? I forgot. Either way,
Hell if I
Could've
know.
been that one. Yeah, no. Remember there was like a whole side story about one of the young vampires, like in between Eclipse and New Moon.
Yeah, I barely
I'm
because
showing myself to be a
I
fucking
definitely
Twilight fan.
I skipped a good portion of New Moon.
What? That was my
Yeah, yeah,
favorite
yeah, I
book.
skipped a
That's
good
the
portion.
best book.
Any
That's
part
the
like
best one.
I don't even realize that Bella jumped off of a thing before. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize it. And they
yeah, no.
are no, and they are fun to watch because they're bad. The series as itself, like even the series, fucking man, I don't know, man. But I would like to see it redone
The
because I
movies,
think that in general it's a very boring story.
ah, I mean, and again, it's the typical love story, romance shit like that. It's just supernatural stuff. Like, mom has better books on the fucking like porn shelf, like Laurel K.
Don't
Hamilton.
call Mom Shelf the porn shelf.
I kind of call it the porn shelf. I mean, again, like any of those, I always fall back on Laurel K. Hamilton, but also Anne Rice, like all that smut
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, yeah.
Harlequin novels, all that stuff.
Yeah, all the
It's
smutty boys.
all
Anyway,
the
shout out to
smut
the smutty
boys,
boys.
smut
Anyway,
boys.
I think I don't know. I'm slowly becoming more on the side of like adapt it all. You know what I mean? Make it all a separate thing. Because at the end of the day, like you still have the original thing, no matter what happens.
Yeah, and it doesn't detract from how good it was. And a lot of the times people will look at an adaptation and say that if it was bad, it's like, oh, this makes the original better. Uh,
Exactly.
and I
Like
mean,
even now, like I'll watch Daredevil, like, and I'll rewatch it like
that right
2 weeks
there,
ago, and I'm like,
that
wow,
right
this is
there.
such a good shitty movie. And I love like the Netflix series. I'm like, if we can just keep doing, not keep doing this, like please tell new stories, do new shit. But like if we could just do this every time, like have the shitty thing and then have the
Have
cool
the
thing
really
exist.
cool thing after, yeah, like that could be nice. But I mean, that leads me to go like, are we gonna ever get a scary movie reboot? Like, I mean, like I feel
What
like
you mean by a scary movie reboot?
like
Because I don't think this shit works for comedies.
you don't think that
I don't think this shit works for
I
comedy.
mean, I guess retelling a joke becomes an issue, right? Like because like when you tell a joke over and over again, eventually it becomes less funny.
Not even because like you're trying because at the end of the day, you're not retelling the jokes. You're redoing some of the bits and you're modernizing the bits for a new audience.
Yeah,
I like the House Party like movie, like the new House Party movie, but
yeah.
I can see why people are like, yo, this shit fucking sucks. And I think that if somebody tried to do like Blazing Saddles or like another one of
They're
those
doing
racist
Roadhouse,
ass
man.
Western movies,
They're redoing Roadhouse as we talked about previous. Like Jake Gyllenhaal is playing the nigga from Roadhouse, and I'm just again, I didn't know people. I didn't know that was a demographic out there. I mean, they made a new Maverick movie. I was like,
it's not a new
again,
Maverick movie, it's a sequel, dickhead.
I gotta
Top
be
Gun
honest.
is one of the greatest movies of all time. Don't do that.
Listen here, military boy. I ain't
Nah,
got time to hear you.
now when you in a room with a bunch of hard dicks, like you just you just in a room with a bunch of hard dicks watching the plane movie. It's like, I don't know, I'm feeling it for real.
Yo, dude, hey, let me ask you something. How does Annapolis hit when you got a
Annapolis
lot?
does not hit because Annapolis is a boxing movie before it's a military movie.
It's a boxing movie. I thought that was
Annapolis
James
is a boxing
Franco.
movie. I just found out today that that you don't watch Annapolis. You've
No,
never
because
seen
I
that.
remember James Franco and Tyrese, and like I watched
And they
some
were
of it.
boxing.
They were boxing. That was
Yeah.
like I thought they were like there was a point where the nigga was trying to like swim or some shit.
Nah, no, he was trying to be in the cut. No, that's not. Fuck, that's an Ashton Kutcher movie where he's
Oh,
supposed
that's
to.
the Guardian. That's the Guardian.
That's the Guardian.
Where Bruce Willis is again like some mystery nigga that reappears from time to time to save people. It's just like there were some people they were out there floating in the middle of the ocean.
I think that's not. Is it? I don't fucking know.
Now,
That
because
sounds like
remember
Unbreakable.
Dean Koontz had that whole like the Unbreakable series, right? And he was like that nigga that showed up in the raincoat and would show
Yeah,
up.
that's Unbreakable.
Yeah, he was the Guardian. He was also the Guardian there. And then he
Well,
was
good for Bruce Willis, man.
wait, was that
He's
Bruce
an
Willis
American
or was
treasure.
that Kevin fucking Costner?
All them niggas are the same to me.
It's the same name. Bruce Willis, Kevin Costner, Russell
Actually,
Crowe.
no. Bruce Willis is way cooler than fucking
What's
Kevin
the
Costner.
nigga? What's the nigga from Yours, Mine, and Ours? Like,
I never watched that movie.
there's again back to phenotypes. There's a certain phenotype of white guy. Like if you look at Pete Davidson, Michael Cera, and
Michael Cera and Pete Davidson don't belong in the same box. Thank you.
they do. They're both tall, skinny dudes with large
I
cocks.
think Michael Cera is not that tall.
I mean, again, I don't think he's taller. Nope. I'm not gonna go through this name dropping shit with you because I was about to say I don't know if he's taller than Jason Segel, but he's pretty fucking
Yeah,
tall.
you just dropping names at this point. This is gonna bother me.
Because I was like, I gotta think.
5'9". Yeah, Michael Cera's not
He's
that
not
tall.
that tall. Fuck. All right, never mind. He doesn't even go in that because Pete Davidson is tall, registered tall.
Yeah, he's also just he goes in the
Skinny
same
white
box as
awkward
like
dude.
Travis Barker, and if a Kardashian would
Travis
date you, that's
Barker,
the same.
that's the phenotype. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Travis Barker, Ezra Miller.
But anyway, back to reboots. Well, with the little bit of time we have left.
Oh yeah, no, almost time to pick up the lady. Back to reboots. The thing is that I guess I'm starting to agree with you with the adapt it all type situation, right? Where it's like, all right, cool. Like we can start having like better produced versions of this. Like, yes, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power was like exceptionally expensive, but not as good and didn't deliver as much. But I enjoyed myself because I watched it as like a family thing. Like I watched it with my like mom and the baby bro and like girl and shit, and it was fun. Like we were all just like nerding out, talking about trivia shit. But if I watched it in perspective of like being a critic or something, I'd be like, yeah, this was not that good. It was just didn't come out that well. I'm excited about these, but I'm like, what else are they gonna adapt? And then I saw that they were adapting fucking Lilo and Stitch too. That Paramount Plus had managed to get the rights, which is very funny that Paramount Plus is putting this on because Lilo and Stitch being a Disney property. But I'm just like, that's kind of wild. But yeah, no, they're putting out a fucking live action Lilo and Stitch. And
it's gonna probably be bad.
Yeah, I mean, with the backlash that it's gotten from the casting,
how do you even like? Because Nani thick than a motherfucker, boy.
Yanni is thick, and if they don't like, and they're not gonna pay, they're not gonna do it justice, man. I saw who they picked, and I'm like, that's not Nani. That's not my first. That's the. Is that the?
Y'all got Cherokee playing Nani? I'm not watching.
God damn.
Put a Bella Anderson in the fucking front seat.
Bella Anderson should play Nani like a motherfucker. Oh my god. Oh god. I would pay for that. Oh, that's nasty.
I don't know. I think
the papers thinking about that. God damn.
Right,
also,
man,
shout out to Bella Anderson, man. Come back to the industry. I get it. You're making more money. Like,
yeah, I get it, man. That's how I feel about Alexis Texas doing podcasts.
Can we talk about the fact that I didn't really find Alexis Texas that attractive? I never really thought her
about porn stars. Wow, this is not the time because it's like 45 minutes up to the show. But porn stars are not gauged by how attractive they are.
No, I mean I get it. Well, excuse me. I'm not attracted to Alexis Texas, right? I'm not into that. That's just not me. The rib showing thing was not there. Now, somebody that surprised me, I don't know if you know about Kendra Spade. She's amazing. Like,
how you spell it?
Kendra and then Spade, Spade. Yeah, no, she's got a fan. She got a good roster of good stuff out there. She got great content.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's on the freeze. You can just get it. Like, but I mean, if you wanted the crazier stuff, you could pay for it.
Oh, I'm not into this.
I mean, you gotta wait till her. Yeah. The way she talks, man,
I'm glad for you, man.
The way she speaks, like that's the thing. Also, shout out to Dirty Talkers, man. Like, you're the best in the porn business. You guys remember Sasha Grey? She was downright disgusting.
Isn't that the girl from
Yeah, the space thing.
No. What? No, Sasha Spade. Isn't that the name of the girl in 50 Shades?
What? No, what? No. Homegirl was fucking the door. What the fuck was Dorian Gray? And goddamn me. Well, I don't know what the fuck the girl is. I didn't read those books. I didn't do it.
That's fine. Either way, I
didn't watch the fucking movies. I was just like,
Yeah. I watched it last time I was underway, and I was like, "This is cool."
I mean, it's something to watch. It's something to watch in a tin can filled with Ben.
Yeah, man, just me and the homies watching 50 Shades together. One, and I know we're about to close out and shit. One thing that we like to do sometimes is like we like to name ourselves like random off the wall offensive shit on our iPhones.
Nice.
So when we airdrop each other random shit.
So like what? Like how offensive?
So like we got one dude, and I'm not gonna say his name, but he calls himself
fake name. Yes,
no, he calls him because I'm about to say he calls himself Clayton Bigsby, right?
Nice. Clayton
Bigsby will send you like 3 videos. So like you'll look down and be like, Clayton Bigsby would like to airdrop you 3 videos. I'm like, I don't want 3 videos from Clayton Bigsby.
No.
Also, I used to be Suge Knight. Now I'm Remy Bucks Aplenty.
I was like, Clayton Bigsby is a deep cut, man. That's the blind.
It's not really that much of a deep cut. First episode of the Chappelle Show.
Is it the first episode of the Chappelle?
It's the very first episode.
Damn, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Hell
Either
yeah.
way, all right, man. I gotta close it out. I gotta go get the lady. If I'm saying all that good shit. So, just to let everybody know, thank you, all of you who showed up to the live. We appreciate you. Thank you again, again, again. It's me, the well-spoken token. My brother, bro, do you got anything extra you want to say to the folks? Any closing statements, closing thoughts, words of wisdom, pearls?
Yeah, I got no words of wisdom. Just be on the lookout for the Discord coming up. That
Yeah.
should be up and running in the next day or two.
Absolutely. We're getting that shit ready to go. We got the worker bees going in on the Discord. We're so excited about that, guys. Also, be on the lookout for Dungeons and Dragons content. I know we briefly touched on that here, but we are, and I swear to you, we are about to drop these things. I know I'll be saying things, and sometimes they don't always come true, but again, most of the time, we try to keep our word on the Well Spoken Token podcast. Again, thank you for dropping in. Thank you for enjoying the pod. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Get in the comments. Tell us that you hated it. Tell us that you love it. But you can also catch us on Instagram at the Well Spoken Token Official. You can get us on Twitter at the Twitter page because I always forget the name of that one. We'll have it all linked, put it up there.
It's all linked below. Yep.
So I'm the Well Spoken Token. We love you and we out. How do you